Yo. All right. All right. All right. So, once again, I'd like to welcome you guys to the DJKO podcast. I'd like to thank you, first of all, for tuning in to the show. This is something new for me. This is something new for uh, America. This is something new for the blacks. This is something new for communities that never experienced this before. And if you've been watching the news, most of you guys know what I'm talking about. So we're talking about the murder of Mr. George Floyd down in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He was a native of Houston, Texas. Then he, eventually migrated up to Minneapolis. Uh, the nation is in an uproar right now. The reason why I say the nation is in an uproar because you had an officer that arrested him. According to the video, they said it dragged him to the ground, right? Handcuffed him, put him on his stomach, detained him, then proceeded to put his knee onto Mr. Floyd's neck while he's on the ground. So if you would just visualize that, a man has 80% of his weight on the back of your neck. In anatomy, it says if you're in a car accident and you get hit in a certain direction, and with the amount of force that's applied to the C1, C2, C3, and C4 vertebrae, you can snap the vertebrae. And I believe it's like 5 pounds of pressure. And this man was leaning at least 70 to 80 pounds on Mr. Floyd's neck, which is deplorable. Not for 1 minute, not for 2 minutes, not for 3 minutes, not for 4 minutes, not for 5 minutes, not for 6 minutes, for 8 minutes. Just think about that. It took me 30 seconds to count to 8, right? That's disgusting. So right now, you have mixed feelings and mixed emotions about the people that's in Minneapolis, the people here in Houston, Texas, about the people in LA and Oakland, California, the people in Louisville, Kentucky. They're protesting, right? So some people are saying, why tear up the block? Why tear up certain things? Why do these acts of quote unquote terrorism? Some say burn it up. Protest until we get change. Protest until we get some type of action taking place in our criminal police forces in our cities, where we could have fair and equal shares of security and defense, right? The police are to protect and serve. That's on their creed. When they get sworn in to that oath, they are put on an oath to say, I will protect and serve my community to the best of my ability, not tear my community down, not degrade my community, not perform acts of terrorism against my community, but to protect the community, right? So what's going on, people? I have a couple of friends that's police officers, and they have mixed feelings about it because, one, they are police officers, right? And they got to do their job, and their job is dangerous. But I say this: do you protect the guys that's in the blue, or do you protect what's right? What's right? I understood you are sworn to an oath. I understand that you have a dangerous job. I get it. I get it 100%. But do you unlawfully do acts to the public people because you feel uncomfortable, you feel afraid, or you fear persons because of how they physically look, what they tell you, or you might have just a bad day? I get it. Everybody has bad days. I get it. Everybody has those mental days where they're mentally drained, their job is trying, they're not getting paid that much, they're in a dangerous profession, they at gunfire on a consistent basis. I get it. I get it. But does that give the right to those police officers to do unlawful acts towards the American people or just the public? So I like to give condolences to the family. Sorry that they lost a loved one. He was a father. He was a son. He was a friend. I was looking at some interviews. Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson is a native of Beaumont, Texas, which he grew up in Houston. Him and George was best friends. He said he spoke with George almost once a month. He provided funding to George when he needed it. He didn't ask on a consistent basis, I need this, I need that. He only asked him when he needed things like that. He was a good friend of his. He's like a brother. And I saw one interview where the mother of his kids still haven't even told the kids that their father is gone because of an act of violence. So, condolences to the family. I have another argument. So, my argument with some of my friends, they are quote unquote not politicians, but they are right-wing Republicans, which is fine. That's fine. You could have whatever your political stance is. That's fine. You could be a politician. You could be a capitalist. You could be anything you want. This world is open to do whatever you want. But they want to oppose their ideas and their presumptions on other people because they don't agree on how people of color react. So my question to those guys are, okay, when you look in the mirror, when you go outside, better yet, when your son goes outside and he is unlawfully stopped, searched by the police, how would you feel now? And you could live in a wealthy neighborhood. You could be established. You could have money. You could have your own situation going on, right? Have your own business, be powerful, a powerful figure in the community. You can have all this stuff going on. But that police officer that fears you or fears your skin or fears what you quote unquote represent could unlawfully stop him and put his knee in his neck just because he felt like doing it. Now, I'm reading the news right now. Looks like that the Attorney General did bring the police officer on charges. So it looks like they said they bringing him in on third-degree murder and manslaughter. Third-degree manslaughter. What is that? I never heard of third degree. Third degree and manslaughter? What is that? I heard of first degree murder and second degree. I never heard of third degree murder. What is a third degree murder? What is that? That's saying a slap on the wrist. I'm going to give you a year in jail, a year of probation, and you're back out on the streets to get another job. This is crazy. This is crazy to me. This is so crazy. You know, I tend to be not a equal person or a fair person, but this is crazy to me. This is in the last year. This is 2020. Let's see, 2020. I believe they done had 6 of these unlawful murders by the police force. Just this week they had last month they had Ahmaud Aubrey. This month they had George Floyd. They had the young lady in Louisville, Kentucky, who was in her apartment and was wrongfully cited, and the police decided to kill her in her apartment. And you had 3 other cases that happened this year, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So I'm trying to figure out what is it? Well, like, some police officers, please tune in. Please tune in. Please answer these questions for me. I understand that every police officer isn't the same. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that everybody that wears that blue is the same. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, if you're wearing that blue and you know those particular persons that you work with have these certain feelings against these other people, why don't you say something? Or why don't you say something to the captain or the supervisor or the lieutenant? Because from reading the stories, the police officer who killed George Floyd looks like they had multiple stops of multiple stops of unlawfulness by Mr. Chauvin, I think his name is. I forget his name. I don't want to give light to his name. But he had multiple cases on him already prior to this situation. So being in the police force, I understand it's a tough job. Some people are doing it the right way. Shots out to those guys who are doing it the right way. But you making the good suffer for the bad, man. Or you making the good look a certain way, in a certain light. So, I don't know. All I could do is tell my son, tell my nephews, tell my cousins, tell my friends who have sons. All you could do is tell them what? Be safe, right? And that's like a soft term. What is be safe? What is be safe? Today in America, in quarantine, you tell them to be safe. You think, okay, we're inside and okay, everything is good, everything is dandy. We're inside, so we're not going out in the public. So you're thinking everything will be completely safe, which is fair. Until you run up on a situation and you have somebody that's racist or somebody that's having a bad day. Because in most cases, some guys are not racist. And I can say that. Most guys that I think are not racist. But I do say most of those guys are ignorant. When I say ignorant, I mean they don't understand another race, or they don't want to try to understand another race. That's like me going into an Indian home and eating their food and wonder why they like that type of food, right? Because I'm being ignorant of the culture, of that person's culture. Granted, you do have a lot of white supremacists. You do have a lot of people that's racist. I get that. But I don't know. So we're going to look to the future and we're going to see what's going to come up light to this situation. because right now it's a dark time. While we have the COVID situation going on, we have these unlawfully murders going on. We have looting going on in Minneapolis. They're tearing the city up. We have the president tweeting out things, violent things, acts of nature, and we having him attacking the public, elected public officials in Minneapolis, saying they're weak, they're not suitable to make a decision, things of that nature. So we're in a crazy time right now in our nation. So I want you guys, whenever you get a chance, if you believe in a higher power, if you believe in a source of light, or if you believe in something that's above yourself, I want you to pray. Pray for guidance. Pray for understanding. In the Bible, it says, out of all things, one thing that I do pray for is understanding. Allow me to understand. Allow me not to be ignorant of what's going on. Guys, this is your boy DJKO. Be on the lookout. I'm going to start posting some of these things every week. I just had to get this off my chest since, a lot of people was talking about it. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you have anything any comments, any questions, any concerns, on all platforms, I'm Mr. DJKO. You can hit me up, email me at adamnelson2000@yahoo.com, Instagram, Facebook, MrDJKO.com. DM me. You guys have a wonderful, beautiful day, and blessings to you.